seminar. This is the second seminar of a series of what we may call IDRiM implemented gap Zoom seminar, so to speak. And this is organized by the task force team that has been set up in the IDRiM Society. And okay, today we have two speakers, and one is Dr. Shiroshita, and then the second is Dr. Shuresh. And let me just ask first Shiroshita Sensei to start your talk. You have about, say, 20 or 25 minutes.
Okay. Can I start now?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. Okada-sensei, thank you very much for your introduction. So my name is Hideyuki Shiroshita. I'm from Kansai University, Japan. Actually, I graduated from DPRI, Kyoto University, when I was a master and PhD student. So I obtained my PhD degree from DPRI. And after that, I got my current post job at Kansai University. Kansai University established Faculty of Safety Science in 2010. So it was nearly 14 years ago. So since then, I have been working at Kansai University. Today, because I graduated from DPRI, so I studied about disaster education mainly for natural hazards. But today I would like to share with a bit different topic, that is snake bite. So yeah, thank you very much for this. How to say, giving me this great opportunity to give this talk today. So let me share my screen.
Yes, please do so.
Yes. Yeah. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. So yes, at first I should apologize that I cannot jointly give my presentation with Nivedita Ray Bennett today. This is purely the result of miscommunication between myself and Nivedita. So we try to, adjust our schedule, but because of the miscommunication, she cannot join today's session. So yeah, at first I have to say sorry about it.
Okay, thank you very much. I am Hari Darshan Shrestha from Nepal. I am working in Tribhuvan University. My background is civil engineering, but I did a PhD from Japan, basically, Eime University, in research base in the DRIM. Initially, I practiced as a structural engineering, but after 2005, I am more involved in DRIM. And first of all, I would like to thank you, Professor Okada, to provide me this opportunity to introduce, to hear, and also to say something from my part. And I am afraid of my today's presentation, because this is not the systematic research-based finding or something. Basically, I am going to talk basically the issues, basically avoidable death, what is today's theme. Yeah, what is happening and why this is happening, and what may be the reason behind this is not solved, or there is a implementation gap. Okay, I will share.
Yes, please. The screen.
Okay. I will begin to introduce about the context of Nepal, the issues, Yeah, basically from our context. Therefore, I think most of you may be aware about the situation in Nepal or the context of Nepal. If not, I will explain a little bit about the Nepal. Yeah, Nepal lies between India and China. It's a landlocked country. We do have normally we used to say it's a small country, but by population, I don't think we are the small country because we do have about 30 million population. And this is the developing country. Yeah. And today I will talk about the transportation system and death due to the traffic. Therefore, this is the photographs. You can see how we are managing our traffic system in Nepal, because still we doesn't have any automation system. We are using the manual system. That is the one. And another is the majority of people are using two-wheeler, mainly the motorcycle, because we doesn't have a proper mass transportation system. There is a lot of hassles in public transportation system. Therefore, most of the people are using the two-wheeler, that is the motorbike. Data shows that we do have about 3.2 million vehicle registered. Out of that, you will be surprised to hear this, 78% are the two-wheeler. That is about 250,000 motorcycles that is running in road of Nepal. And also, as two-wheeler is not safe, basically, therefore we do have alarming figures on the deaths due to the injuries of the road accidents. And about 68% of fatalities is mainly due to the two-wheeler riding. And also, majority of people are using the two-wheeler, and we doesn't have any systematic automation traffic system. Therefore, every day there is a news of accident and fatal. And if you look on these photographs, you will see in the road, majority of transport are the two-wheeler, and nobody, the pillion rider, basically the backseater, are wearing the helmet. Therefore, there is a lot of accident, and most of the pillion rider are killed during the accident. If not killed, also they do have head injuries. Their life is very miserable. Therefore, about the 40% of pillion rider are killed during the accident. And if you look on these photographs also, majority of young people are using the motorbike or the two-wheeler, and they are prone to death. Yeah, basically there is a two. One is a two-wheeler is not so safe, and another is we do not have a practice now to use a helmet by the pillion rider. These are the two basic reasons behind. And what our authority and what we think also, about 42% of reduction can be done in the fatal injuries, and 69% can be reduced in head injuries if we will use proper helmet by the both rider. And contradict to this, government is trying to enforce the use of helmet by pillion rider, the both rider. But it's almost more than 10 years. Government is trying, but we do not succeed to enforce the use of helmet by the pillion rider. Basically, as I mentioned already, 250,000 motorbike is there. Therefore, if there is a two rider, then it's almost 5 million people are, young people are using this. And there is a reluctancy. There is not a willingness. And there is a big pressure by the people not to use the helmet by the pillion reader. That is the issues in Nepal. Then I do have a curiosity why this is happening. Because why this is happening? Why pillion reader are not wearing the helmet, and why every day the fatal is increasing? Then I tried to look on the theory and practice in the context of Nepal. Then I found we do have a similar one project, that is the implementation of building code project. Yeah, when we designed that project to reduce the risk from the earthquake vulnerabilities, that time we come out with the 4-pillar strategy. Basically, we consider if capacity is there, awareness and demand creation is there, and legal instrument, rules and regulation is there, and also proper field implementation, then we can reduce the risk significantly. And the project, the outcome of project also shows that it's very effective. Then I tried to look at this particular issues. What about this 4-pillar strategy and these factors, where we are in these particular issues? Then the first thing is a legal instrument. Then I look on the what are the existing legal instrument in Nepal. Then I found we do have a Transport Management Act, which is established in 1993, and that says the mandatory use of the helmet by both rider. And it has been implemented in 2003. And from the 2003, every rider had been used the helmet, both the rider and the pillion rider. And that was developed as a culture. And also, if we will talk about the capacity, that time it has been practiced. Therefore, every biker does have a 2 helmet because they used it. Yeah. And also, cost of the helmet is not costly. It is affordable. You can buy this from about $6. Therefore, it's not because of the capacity. Legal instrument is there, capacity is there. Yeah, 2 factors are already satisfied. Then another is the awareness. When I look on the awareness, we do have a huge campaign of this road accident. Yeah, and there is a lot of awareness and advocacy campaign on all types of media. That is the television, radio, social media, pamphlets, and also the traffic and the NGOs are doing the street drama to show the seriousness of the road accident and probability of killing the people. Therefore, awareness movement is there. Advocacy is also there. And everyday news, either in the television or radio or newspaper, daily newspaper, you can see the news. For example, motorcycle pillion rider killed after hitting the footway. Kathmandu bike accident kills pillion rider. Pillion rider kill in road accident. Biker kill, like that. Every day we do have a news. Therefore, awareness should not be the problem. People are aware. And also, most of the young people are using the 2-wheeler. And they are smart enough and they are educated also. Therefore, awareness also should not be the issue. Then awareness is there, capacity is there, legal instrument is there. Then why it is not happening? Then what I found is we do have a conflict basically, you can say that like a civil war of the Maoist insurgency that started from 1996 and ended after the peace agreement on 2006. And initially, Maoist activities were rural-centric, yeah, in the hill areas.
Mm.
But after 2004, they changed their strategy and they entered to the urban area. Therefore, and they started to killing the targeted people. And they used the motorcycle as a means of transportation because it is very easy transportation for the hit and run. Therefore, they use motorbike, and both the rider are using the helmet, and the pillion rider use the gun to kill the targeted people. And police realized that due to the means of transportation, motorcycle, it's easy for hit and run, and they throw the motorbike, and this two-wheeler mainly is either stolen or illegal. Therefore, you cannot caught the owner. And then police realized that we cannot recognize or identify the person who shot or who used the gun or who killed the targeted people. Therefore, temporarily, the rules or legal system has been scrapped. That is happened in 2005, and the government said pillion reader should not use the helmet, and that will help people to recognize who is using this gun or who are involved in this. Then only rider used the helmet, and pillion rider did not use the helmet, and that become as a culture. And after 2006, after the peace agreement, we do not have any conflict. There is no security threat, but till today, none of the pillion rider are using the helmet. Therefore, in summary, what we used to say in theory and our finding, the capacity is the vital thing. And in this case, capacity is there because helmet is there for the both rider. And we had practiced also those things, and cost of the helmet is not the issue. And also the awareness. Awareness is there because there is a campaign and all the people are literate. And also every day news is there. This is very risky. How crucial is to use the helmet by the pillion rider. Therefore, capacity is not the issue. Awareness is not issue. Even when we talk about the incentive, when you use the helmet, it protects from the dust and pollution. Therefore, indirect incentive is there. And legal instrument is there because we do have a Transport Management Act, and after the peace process, the rules have been re-established. Now we do have a rules. Both the rider has to use the helmet, but people are not using the helmet, mainly the pillion rider. Therefore, there is a challenges of the enforcement. Yep, government couldn't enforce it. Therefore, I see there is an implementation gap, like resource awareness incentive are necessary, but not sufficient condition for the disaster risk reduction. Therefore, I want to put this question: what will help to reduce this existing risk of the fatal of the pillion rider by not using the helmet? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hari, for your very interesting and in a way very unique kind of facts which were involved in somehow discouraging the use of helmets. Okay, maybe I should ask anyone who wish to bring up any types of clarifications or questions. Both, well, either Hiroshita-kun or Shureshita.
So can I say one comment, or can I share
okay.
one
Yes,
important the fact about snake bite disease?
Okay.
So yeah, from the Dr. Shrestha's presentation, I remembered one very important information about snake bite disease in India. So in India, in village, if people are bitten by snake, usually they go to not a hospital, but a traditional healer. Traditional healer. And then many people believe traditional healers treatment by traditional healers works for snake bite disease. But it is not true. The reason why people misunderstood about the traditional healers treatment works for snake bite disease. 80% of snake bite are snake bite by non-venom snakes. So this means if all people who are bitten by snake go to traditional healer, 80% of people are saved because of they are bitten by non-venom snakes. So this this fact still how to say this fact is this fact makes the situation very complicated in India. So 80% is how to say saved rate. So people believe 80% is enough. So traditional healer, if we are bitten by snake, then we should go to traditional healer, not the hospital very far from the village. So this is the situation. So I found the story in Nepal is quite similar to the situation in India. So this is my just comment, not the question. Yeah, that is your how to say, presentation reminds me this important point. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Agreed.
Harry, do you have any reply to him?
No. That is because as I mentioned earlier also, everything is contextual. For example, people in the developed country even cannot imagine of these numbers of two-wheeler, and therefore everything is contextual and depends on the habit, culture, knowledge. Therefore we have to also find out the solution accordingly. That is what I think.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or remarks?
I have a question.
Rob?
Yes, it's
please.
about, I mean, first I should say I was fascinated by both of these presentations, and I agree with Hari's last remark that one really needs to pay attention to context and cultural forces. The question I had, though, for Hari was, at present, right, we see that pillion riders aren't wearing helmets, but I wonder, what about the operators of the motorcycles? Are they still wearing helmets?
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
the rider is using the helmet. That is mandatory. And now pillion, only the backseater are not using.
So that's really curious, isn't it? You've aroused my curiosity as well as yours. So that shift, which came about during the Maoist troubles,
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
really stuck and created this interesting disparity in helmet use. Wow. Okay.
Yes. Yes. I think this is a very unique. I'm not sure if this is the right expression, but very interesting type of question that is involved here. I think, the fact that there was a kind of Maoist movement, and that was also caused by the shaking of the royal system. The police was rather more concerned about the national security that would be caused by people who were riding the bikes on the backside, and they wanted to see their faces more clearly, so they didn't want them to wear helmets.
Helmet, yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. So in that case, in a way, from the viewpoint of national security, yes. So, and they wanted to avoid that kind of violent activist type of incident occurring too much. So they just gave a lower priority to the importance of everyone riding on the bike should wear a helmet. And after this Maoist movement was over, and I understand your country is getting more settling down, yet you can't get rid of this kind of inertia, which just prevented from everyone wearing a helmet, particularly those who are riding on the bike. Am I right to understand that way?
Yeah. The question is, due to the security reason, temporarily the rules has been scrapped.
Yes,
but it's almost more than 18 years because we do have now peace and there is no security threat.
Okay.
But people are not using. And one of the photographs, if you will see on here, this photograph, this is the pillion rider, the female rider.
Yes.
She is carrying the helmet in hand rather than wearing it. I took these photographs 3 days back. Therefore, this is the practice now. Everything is normal, but
okay. Helmet carrying by hand. Okay.
I think.
Yeah, Onishi-kun. Hi.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, Miranda-sensei. This is a short comment. Or, yes, small wonder. Yes, do you have any do you had a very informal interview for those who do not wear helmet. I think the photo that you showed, this lady care about the hairstyle, isn't it? Because yeah, usually even for me, I sometimes go to the construction sites, and then just after the wearing a helmet, my hair is completely, Petanko.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
that is also the one of reason, because when I talk with the, for example, my majority of student who are the pillion rider doesn't use it. Therefore, I used to ask them, there is a risk, and you are literate people. Why? Therefore, there is some sort of, as you say, the freedom, or and our this climate is beautiful in Nepal. We doesn't have a snow and heavy rain like that. And therefore, maybe that is what. But risk is there, but people are not sensitive. That is the basic
yeah.
issue.
Yes. But to me, it makes sense. Yes. Somebody do not. Yeah. Somebody is care more for the hairstyle rather than the risk of death.
Therefore, how to change the people's these types of concept and habit? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I think it's very difficult. Sorry. Yeah. Miranda Sensei is now raising a hand.
Okay. Yes, please, Miranda Sensei.
Thank you so much. Well, both presentations were fascinating, and a big push to me as a disaster person to look outside my little box and see the whole picture of the risks. So one comment regarding the wearing helmet issue. I come from a country where this is a big issue. If you go downtown Athens now, nobody wear a helmet. And of course, this is a perception of risk. But in the case of Nepal, what I felt is that this story with the Maoist rebellion group broke the trust between the state and the people, which means that people perceived that the state does not really care about enforcing a life-saving measure. So the argument of the government to enforce this after the situation changed is not there anymore. I mean, the state cannot negotiate on the basis of saving lives, because what was proven is that the state does not care about the lives of people. And in terms of implementation, this is a lesson to be learned, that somehow we need to maintain the trust. When starting something, we need to be there and continue. Otherwise, it is not for sure that we can come back and do things. So this is one comment I wanted to do. And the second comment is about the first presentation, which again I find extremely interesting in terms of implementation science, because the first step to implementation, this is what I got out of this presentation, is that we have to see the problem, because of course people were bitten by snakes forever. But if we manage to focus and see something, then this is the basis of doing something. So one of the things I got out of the first presentation is this one. I don't know if it is naive, but yeah, we have to keep in mind to look around to see things. Otherwise, we're not going to implement anything. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Shiroshita-kun, do you have any response to Miranda-san?
Me?
Yeah, Shiroshira-kun. Yeah.
Ah,
Yes.
yeah. So yes, it's actually sorry. I did not catch the Miranda Sensei's comment well. So yeah. So could you explain a bit
Yeah, a
more?
little bit. Sorry, it's
Okay.
not a big deal what I said. I just said that out of your presentation, one of the things that I found interesting was that people were bitten by snakes forever. Okay.
Mm.
So the problem was there, but we need to see the problem, to focus, to perceive it as a problem.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is the basis for implementation, because too many things are around. So you saw the problem, you started to do something, and then we can discuss about implementation. And now I have a question. Who is you? I mean, how this initiative started? Who saw the problem and said that something must be done?
Yes, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, actually, so when we discussed about, this, because we are, avoidable disease network, so we are interested in any type of disease. And as I mentioned during my presentation, we found, because I and Nivedita, another president, she is also DRR, the risk reduction person. So her focus was not snake bite, her focus was cyclone and earthquake, kind of natural hazards. So when we discuss about this, any type of this, we found that, the chart, and that chart showed, the snake bite this is more risky than the earthquake this in 20th century. And then we, explore the start of snake bite this, and we found that India the most, snake bite this world, snake bite this country. And then actually Nivedita, she is from India. So this is one of the small reasons. So we started to, snake bite this project in India. Yeah, this is the reason.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dim, you are sort of rushing to leave, or you have more time? A little bit more
No,
time?
yeah, thank you. Today I have more time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
But if we have time, I just would like Harry to respond to Miranda's remarks. Particularly
yeah, sure.
the trust issue of the state.
That's what I want. That's what I
Yeah,
wanted
maybe.
to comment on
Okay.
as well.
Or if
Yeah.
you also say, well, making some similar comments, you can make it first. And
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I also noted some comments in the chat, but this what I wanted to comment on now is essentially follow up on Alexis's point. Indeed, on trust. I agree to an extent with the Alexis's comment. It's very relevant, I think, to highlight this aspect of trust. And indeed, as we know, with in terms of organizational trust, this is something that can be easily broken, but very hard to construct or rebuild. It's like glass. If it's broken, then you can't mend it, I suppose. Or there's also kintsugi, the method of making it even more beautiful. In any case, we would be discussing about how you can work on that. But what I wanted to comment on is that this can be a dangerous mind view, world view, mindset, if you will, from I guess Nepalese side of the government, looking into well, if they were indeed, this is of course all speculation because I have no connection with the Nepalese government. I guess for the sake of the discussion, is what I'm presenting, why I'm presenting my argumentation here. But if the Nepalese government, for example, had this discussion that okay, we have betrayed the community's trust in the past, then there's no point in actually trying to correct things and reinstate the law for using mandatorily helmets for riders and pillion riders, for that matter, just because we know that it will fail again. This defeats the purpose of actually pursuing this direction altogether. I mean, it's not. I think it's a grave mistake if indeed this hypothetical discussion, for example, ever takes place, for the regulatory authority to dismiss an opportunity to rectify potential mistakes of previous administrative bodies. And that does not relate. We could, for example, be discussing about the governing authority each time. For example, I imagine it has changed since 2005, the government body in power in Nepal. I'm not familiar, however, with the Nepalese current situation, honestly. But in any case, I think there has to be some sort of remediation, definitely. And in terms of like discussing whether or not riders and pillion riders should use helmets, I think this is I don't usually use the word objective, but this is objectively a good decision and a good policy to pursue, like making helmets mandatory. And
Okay,
as
hi.
I mentioned, sorry, as I mentioned in my comment, I think this issue definitely involves more than one aspects and more than one problems, and it's more a cohorted effort needs to be made in order to address more of them together, in order to build the groundwork to implement the change, in my perspective.
Okay, yes. Okay, Harriet, do you have some replies?
Yeah. Basically, if you look on this third phrase, the statement, that is what basically government realized. Because of that temporarily scrap, people are now reluctant. That is there. Therefore, the issue, thank you very much. This is basically the trust issue. Because government themselves said no need to use, and now they are trying to enforce. And majority of people are youth. And whenever government tried to enforce strictly, there is a protest. That is the situation now. Therefore, when there is a big protest, majority of people have against of it, then you cannot enforce it. That is the situation now in Nepal. Therefore, what maybe the approach or strategy, government has to take, because they already realize this is happening because of that decision.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. Rob.
I think
Rob, yes,
Masa
please.
was ahead of me, so maybe you
please.
should go first to him.
Okay.
Okay,
then Masa, please.
Thank you very much. My question is very simple. For the Shiroshita sensei, yes, I now understand that how this project is proceed. And you identified the 127 stakeholders.
Yes, during the workshop. Yes.
Yes. And then so how you can identify the stakeholders? Is there any? I mean that those stakeholders are themselves recognize themselves as a stakeholder for reducing the snake bite deaths?
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually,
Mm.
we organize, the series of seminars with some expert or local government officials and academics about, snake bite death in India in this year or last year. So, yeah, and during the workshop, we ask them, we ask participants to identify, what kind of the stakeholders they have for reducing snake bite death. So some people, of course, they identify by themselves as the stakeholders, and then some are not participants, but they are identified by the participants. So this is the situation.
I
Yes.
see. Yeah, actually, the notion of the stakeholder itself, it's dynamic. For
Of course,
example,
yeah.
yes. For example, in I talked Sakurajima case in Kagoshima case in the last seminar, and yes, we are actually really they recognize the necessity to involve more people in a community. So yes, the expert or third party recognize their stakeholders, but some people do not recognize themselves as a stakeholder still. So this kind of gap of the notion regarding the stakeholder is quite important. So
Yes.
that is yes my interest.
Right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes. Yeah. I totally agree with your point. But yeah, at the moment I don't have any clear answer to your comment. But yes, maybe the one the answer would be we have two different types of the network which we are trying to establish. One is knowledge exchange network. So knowledge exchange network is more wider area. For example, national government or state government, this kind of or academic. So more the general type of people will attend this kind of network, and they will discuss about more general or universal type of issue. But as for the CASA local action network is kind of the field site. So yeah, in this case I hope we can cover the stakeholders as many as possible during the operation of CASA. Maybe at the beginning we would miss some important stakeholders. I'm not sure, but there is a possibility, of course, as Sensei mentioned. Yeah, we try to cover all of stakeholders, but still we would miss some important stakeholders. But this is not short term the project. Yeah, we will keep CASA for a long time. So it means during the operation period we believe we can cover almost 100% of important stakeholders for reducing snake bite death. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Hiroshita-kun,
Yes.
maybe
please.
this is something that we can follow up, not today, but later. But for instance, from the viewpoint of the persons who have written a kind of perspective on what we mean by implemented gap. Rob is also with me here. What we are, for instance, suggesting was, let's say, let's try to, examine what we mean by small gap, between, for instance, planner and implementer. For instance, yes, and how you can fill in this gap and improve it. In this case, for instance, say you can make your project very, very small, very, very narrowly Yeah, but very specifically defined. And for instance, say focusing a particular small area, and you can see the real people there, and they are really, they need to be really involved and engaged. So in that case, we can more clearly say that they are stakeholders, or they are becoming more stakeholders. And also the dynamic process of getting one more engaged than others who joined before, this kind of dynamic process itself to fill in this small gap itself is really an important issue to be studied. And so, so I think today's picture you have brought in is very, very rich for us to study. But from the viewpoint of say implementing gap issue to be studied, it's also important for us to make it very small and specifically defined. And we are more, say, much clearer in what we mean by he, she, those guys, and what types of stakes, and also conditions, weathers, all kinds of things, and put them together and let us see how things develop. And so this might also be a very interesting way for us to approach this question from another angle. And this we can tell that's what we really mean by some sort of small increment in the improvement of what we mean by avoidable death. So that's another way to highlight on this issue. But anyway, what I encourage you to say, based upon the problem you are now bringing in, and this is a very rich stuff there, it might also be interesting for us to work together and to refer to the idea of implement and the dynamic process of involving people on a particular situation. And this might also be a very interesting type of question. We can discuss it later. Yeah, and sorry, I'm using a little bit too much time. Now, Rob.
Yes, well, what I have to say partly overlaps what
Sorry, yes.
saying, but that's okay.
Yes.
And I'm really trying to follow up on what Miranda was saying, as well what Masa was with the basis of Masa's question to me. I mean, all right, we'll start with the fundamental question that Miranda raises, which is, in effect, if we look at the local level, why should people worry about snake bites? They happen all the time. Well, they also kill people, so that's a reason for worrying about it. But the question at the village level is whether you have anything to offer that's better than the traditional healers approach. And right now you don't. And on the other hand, we hope that as the project goes on, you will find ways to get anti-venom to victims of snakebite, and you will have something that's a better approach. So for me, what this seems like is the early stages of an implementation problem where there is a gap between what your establishment knows is needed and the opportunity to realize that, and that includes realizing it with community engagement. So this seems like a very interesting and good story that fits within this overall impression that we have, and we should, I mean, I think it's worth following. I mean, we're watching an implementation problem in process. That was Norio, also Masa, were pointing out that the dynamics matters. We're watching the process. This will change over time if you are successful in what you're doing.
Thank you. Maria, you've been silent, but maybe you can have a chance to express your thoughts.
Well, I don't have a particular question, but I was really impressed by both of these two presentations. Actually, I could never imagine that a snake bite could be considered as a risk. So there are many things that we still cannot consider as risks. So yes, it was a very interesting concept. I don't have something to ask.
Okay, thank you. I think it's the time is now very much limited, I guess. So before we conclude, let me just ask anyone who wish to say a little bit more. Tim, you have some additional thoughts?
I could be discussing this topic in much more depth. I'm very much interested right now, but yeah, of course it's getting late as well. If I may, as I pointed out in the chat as well, if I may, I would like to hear from Professor Shrestha, if what sort of arguments do the opposers in those essentially the protests that are they carry out, what sort of arguments do they present against helmet usage? And that's one question. And in this regard, I think there should be an effort from the government, again, in the grand scheme of things, of repairing this broken trust and this relationship with the community, to try and actively listen, perhaps approach such communities, such groups, and try to incorporate, listen to their views, and try to again mediate somehow, perhaps by creating a new body that will I don't know, it will be part of the reformation of the legislative system. I don't know exactly how the Nepalese government works, I must be honest, but in any case, I would be interested to hear a little bit more about that.
Hiroshita Sensei, you have some short replies?
Yeah, basically, they are not producing any reason behind.
Okay.
You know, basically, it's again, as Miranda stated, this is the trust. People are saying why it was there and you scrapped, and now why? That is the basically conflict between the youngster. Basically, majority of youngsters are using, and they are taking this without risk conscious, like how to say, freedom or something. That maybe not the exact word, but that is how people are taking it. You are more free, you know. That because most of bike users are youngsters. Therefore, yes, government is not doing any thing to how to reduce the trust gap. That is the main problem I see. Therefore, there should be some strategy, or there should be some sort of approach so that people will regain the trust. And because risk consciousness or awareness is not the problem, because most of the people are educated and there is enough knowledge on how crucial is helmet wearing. Yeah, therefore, this is the something how to look on social sign or women psychology, something that so that people started to use the pillar related. This is my personal view. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Well, I don't like to bring up a big issue, but I think I'd say, yeah, this Nepali question today we heard is really a rich issue, I guess, and I think that this is a sort of multi-layer issue, so to speak. And it's very, very systemic. And if I may use the term which I call persistent destructive stresses hitting the country or the community, the revolution or rebellions type of dynamics can also surely impact the society, and the administrative system could also be shaken. And so that kind of impact is also there regarding this sort of say enforcement issue of helmets before and after. But let me just stop here. And Shiroshita-kun, you also have some comments, replies to him, Dims?
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, thank you very much for your productive comments. Actually, yes, I have not question, but so yes, I'm thinking about how can we the keep record of implementation, because the previous the traditional the research certain type of research usually focus on before and after or pre and post. So just we get the data that just after something we have done. But as for the implementation is usually long-term activities. So my question or my concern is how can we keep record of implementation to show other people about the importance of the implementation, because I don't think the specific result will not have not so big impact to others, because it will be very context specific the results, but the way of implementation be the key for the others. So that is why I am curious about how can we share the way of implementation with others, how can we keep the record of implementation history.
Shiroshita-kun, my advice is that you are so close to the well, what I mean is that you were referring to the case that said you are now setting up a kind of case station, yes?
Yes,
a real case station. So it's a real field.
Yeah.
And it's more focused. Yeah, and the issues are more specified. And you can also bring in people who could be good stakeholders later, even by involving researchers. And you can also do some sort of evidence-based types of approaches there, and keep it going over a long period of time, and with some hypothesis being there. So I think you are sort of ready to go into that direction and that's why you have already set up this kind of a case station, which you call CASA or something like that.
Yeah.
I really admire you, both of you have also started doing this. So we like to listen to you, what could be some outcomes of well, setting up this kind of case station. Next step. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think I say the time is almost up, and unless
Can I
you,
make-
okay,
can I
Rob, you have
quick-
some comments. Yes.
quick comment, which is one of the things we have been arguing for is to acknowledge that these situations such as yours are dynamic and complicated and involve different people, different perspectives. And our belief is that telling the story of what you're doing is actually an important way of communicating all of this complexity. And I thought you did a good job in your presentation here of presenting what happened. And I think documenting that with its complexity, the story of what you're doing is a very worthwhile thing to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much, Rob, for your very valuable comment. Okay, the way I propose is that this is not the end of everything. I would like to see more follow-up discussions to come out. And just like the way I advised the previous two speakers, they gave their ideas to us at the first seminar. I like you both to keep repeating this type of, say, seminar discussions. But until we meet again in exactly the same way, I would like you to communicate with people who are here, and also some people who are unable to attend, but they would also be interested in, well, studying, following up on what we have already discussed, by listening to the recorded discussions here, also together with your presentation, yes, materials to be also shared with people who belong to this team. So after this is over, the meeting is over, Hiroshita-kun and Shrestha, don't you mind sort of say sharing your slides to us? And if you need some small changes, you can make them, and then please allow us to share. You can ask Ayuna-san to help you share your slides. But also, if you don't mind, I'd like you each to exchange email messages to follow up on any types of questions or clarifications or some other new thoughts that you came up after we listened to your talks. And yeah, so, and the way I hope is that say, well, we don't need to say stick on what to you both are always sort of say working together, but it might also be a good experience for us to see the say two presentations we listened to today, seemingly very different types of materials you're talking about, but they have some similar ideas, thoughts, and also complementary types of knowledge and ideas. So why don't you stick to this pair of discussants, speakers, taking the lead in repeating this type of seminar follow-up discussions. And let us hope that, say, maybe in 3 months or something like that, we like to, well, meet again, yes? And we like to listen to updates on what you will have discussed after also discussing together with all people here. And I also encourage you both to communicate each other, but also please think about writing some working papers. Not immediately, but I like to see you, those types of, say, working papers will become a kind of, well, input into some IDRiM journal types of papers to be reviewed in later. So having them mentioned, let's call it a day, and thank you very much, everyone, for your very, very active discussions. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for organizing. See you soon. Let's keep in
Bye.
contact.